welcome to Alchemy Balance, brought to you by the Academy of the Golden Gates. Tonight episode is going to be a little different. For the longest time, we have been given a foundation that wasn't conducive to our growth. It didn't add substance to who we are and why we are and where we came from and why we was created. We believe things that was handed to us because it was perceived to be right. It was perceived to be trustworthy. It was a part of our foundation, our traditions, and it was passed down to us by our ancestors and family members. Today's time is showing us that a lot of things is not what it seems to be, and a lot of things has to be questioned. We can no longer sit back and ignore that the things that has been done throughout history hasn't brought about change, and you got to ask why. We have to look at the foundation. We have to look at the things that we was brought up on and the things that was given to us, so we can have a better understanding of what is really going on. Tonight episode is going to be a lot different because I want to focus on the foundation, and this is going to be a 5-part series. For now, that's what I'm going for. And tonight, and within this 5-part series, we're going to keep going. Within these 5-part series, you're going to find out that there are keys that will be handed to you throughout the series to help you open doors to parts of the self and the psyche and the consciousness, so you could start asking more questions and be open to a lot more than you were before. A lot of times our traditions and our belief system, it limits us to where we are. It won't allow us to grow because we don't make room for the new or the other possibility of it may not be what it really is, and it could be something totally different, and it could be more to it. So tonight I want to help you start thinking and opening up your mind a little to the possibility that there are more to you than you were taught. We are multidimensional beings. We're more than this human vessel. There's so many parts to us that we have to explore only if you're willing and open to accept the things that you find out as it comes up. So tonight is going to be a deep dive. If you're not open to learning different parts about yourself, then this may not be the podcast for you. But this podcast is about self-mastery and the return of eating. This podcast is letting you know that eating is not just a place, it is a state of being, a frequency of wholeness that lives within us. It is the balance between the human and the divine, the mind and the heart, and the will and the wisdom of the source. Self-mastery is the path back to the inner garden. It is the art of becoming conscious of our own creation, tending to our own thoughts, emotions, and choices like sacred soil. Now, when you think about self-mastery, you wonder, how can I master myself? That's a good question. It requires you to go within. It requires you to dive deep into knowing the self, every part of the self. How does the self works? What makes my emotions trigger the way that they're triggered? What are emotions? You ask the question that you never asked before, because you are more than just a human made to show up as a counterpart to a spouse, for a job, for all these things that was given to us and not allowing us to fully sit with ourselves and understand who we are and why we are and the technology that's behind the self. Tonight we will dive a little deeper just to get you to begin to think for yourself, allowing yourself to open up to the possibilities that you may not understand a lot of things because you didn't know it existed. And for that, it's okay. When you are cultivated in awareness, discipline, and love, we begin to walk again in harmony with our divine design. This is the return of Eden, not somewhere we go, but something we become. You have to understand that inside the Bible, there were truth in the Bible, but a lot of people don't know how to interpret the Bible. You have to ask yourself, where did this come from? Where did the literature come from? You have history that's showing us that there was something here before Christ. You got AD. But a lot of people don't want to tap into what was here before then. So you have to ask yourself, okay, if this Bible was written, where did the literature come from? Where did the substance and the content within it come from? For me, it excited me because the way it's written is not the way we talk in this time, day and time. So you got to ask yourself, who wrote it? Is there something that I'm missing from this? My curiosity kicks in when I learn new things. So even when I was reading the Bible, I wanted to know more. And then there was things that came up about why did they keep rewriting the Bible? What was wrong with the original version? So now I wanted to go and look into what the original version had going on. And when it was translated from Latin. And then once you go into that, you go down in a deeper rabbit hole where you find out where the Bible, the different books in the Bible came from, and where the ones that were taken out of the Bible that was originally in there, where they came from and why they was taken out. So many questions, so many answers. And within this, you have to tell yourself that I know I may not know everything, but I have to be open enough to understand who I am and where I came from and what's the truth. We're only truth seekers. If you're a truth seeker, then you won't have a problem with finding out the truth. Now, will it hurt your feelings? Yes. Because I was a pastor daughter that went to church faithfully, that believed in God, read the Bible, participated in everything that came with being a part of the church. And I knew that there was something more because I was tapping into parts of myself that was unexplainable. I wanted to know what the Holy Ghost was, because that was parts of myself that was activated. When I would go to church, I would purge like no other. A lot of times people want to get rid of the foundation you came from, but you don't have to. You can integrate it. You can elevate and go to the next level, because that religion is so much deeper than what we all think, and we will dive deeper into that in another episode, because that will blow your mind once I found out what religions really was. But for now, just to get your mind thinking and your curiosity rolling, I want you to understand that a lot of things that we needed in our toolbox and a part of our foundation wasn't given to us, and we had to go out and seek it, and it is okay. It's not a bad thing. And once you learn that seeking is really feeding you and allowing you to open doors for yourself, because we're limitless beings. Let's be real. We limit ourselves based off of the knowledge that we have and how open and receptive we are to retaining information and knowledge and and just change. Everything is constantly changing. As you see nowadays, technology has taken off on an all-time high, and there's so many people rejecting it. But you have to understand there's good and bad. There's duality in everything. So the technology, yes, there's a bad side to it, but we all got to understand that what's the intention behind it? What is your intention? You can't worry about somebody else. What can you do for to allow it to help you in the process of growth? The Bible had intentions too, but you have to ask yourself, what will I do with this tool that was given to me? How would I use it? How would I interpret it? Because the lens that you interpret it through is how you're going to perceive it. I hope this helped. Stay on topic, sweet pea. I'm so excited about this because finally I have the chance to talk about something that's very dear and passionate to me. Really, one of the things that started me on this journey was I went to different countries. I'm very well traveled. And by me traveling and understanding that other country knows more than we do. When you go to their museums and visit the historic, come on now, the word historical places, you will learn that there was a lot of things that was not given to people from where I'm from, which is the United States. And so I made it my business to continue to travel because a lot of the knowledge and the history that we didn't have, other places had it, and it made me want to know more and just to learn about who I am and my origins because I have 5 kids and I want to teach them. If I'm going to teach them, I want to teach them something correctly. It's not all about just teaching them the negative. A lot of time when you look at history that's given to our kids and that are presented to us, is very limited in the knowledge that it provides, and is really uh, distorted or either watered down just enough to give you something. It doesn't completely fulfill what you're looking for and the craving of understanding that you deserve. So as I walk through these doors, um, I wanted to give myself a chance to see what spirituality really is and who I really am and who God really is. And so by me continuously researching and networking and being open to understanding the information that was given to me and not being judged, not judging the fact that the sources that I had, the resources that I had was limited in this knowledge, it allowed me to retain a lot. It allowed me to open up doors within myself, and different opportunities presented itself to me because I was open to the new things that I have found out. So as we walk through these doors of self mastery and understanding that eating is a state of being and it's within. It's not just a place. It's a frequency of wholeness that lives within us. It is the balance between the human and the divine, the mind and the heart, the will and the wisdom of source. Learning these things allow you to look at life totally different because now I know that my inner world has substance and is very important, and it's even as important as the outer world. Most of the time we get stuck on just living in the outer world and we forget that the inner world is making a lot of noise, and we try to shut it off by pushing it to the side and not addressing it. When the outer world, which is the storm within, is storming, it's a beacon to let you know that something's going on that shouldn't be there. We've been on autopilot for so long, we don't understand that that part of us needs to be addressed to balance out the outer world in a way that we could continue to grow and ascend as we was designed to. Now, as we walk through these doors of self-mastery and understand that eating is not just a place, it's a state of being. We understanding that there's more to being, more to religion than just religion itself. There are more things that we need to know about the self than it's just being a vessel. And we're going to push forward with an open mind and open heart that we're going to learn something today that may leave us asking questions and wanting to know more. And that is okay. So let's step into this teaching. The meaning of the eating, symbolism and consciousness. Eating represents the original blueprint, humanity and harmony with source, nature, and one another. The fall was not punishment, but descent into forgetfulness, separation from the self. The return to Eden is remembrance, awakening to unity, consciousness, and divine order within. Now let's talk about that, because I know you got questions. Eden is the garden within. It's the part that we forgot about. Our inner self that needed to be nourished, needed to be loved and watered. Eden is the original blueprint of how we lived. We were more conscious beings than living in forgetfulness and living in our ego. We fell from where we were. We were very intelligent, conscious beings that had technology that was out of this world. Where we are right now is a result of us falling in frequency, falling from the intelligence and the consciousness of where we were into where we are right now. Forgetting who we were. Based off the frequency that we're currently on, we forgot the frequency that we was on because the frequency that we have right now can't hold that consciousness. It can't hold that frequency. So we have to continue to remember by doing the things that we need to do when it comes to who we are within. The people that is around us are here to help us go through tests and finish levels that we already conquered before. But because we fail in frequency, we don't remember that we conquered it. But once you conquer it, the remembrance come back. Those memories come back. They didn't leave. They're there. They just locked behind a door. And the doors are only visible when you ascend to that frequency that door is on. Hope you're following me. By us falling in frequency, it separated us from who we are, which is the self, which is the inner garden of Eden. Not allowing us to see ourselves fully and walking in a sense of amnesia. When I began at this walk of getting to know myself and self-mastery, there was things that started happening in my body I didn't understand. I didn't understand why my senses were beginning to heighten. I didn't understand why I could feel certain things that I couldn't feel before. I understood what my body needed and not just assume what it wanted. I became one with myself. I became to get to know myself in a way that I never known her before. How she moved, what she needed, when she was dehydrated, when she was hungry, why she ate when she wasn't hungry, when emotions would heighten or she would become triggered, she would tend to go and lean on addictions like food and people. It taught me how to see myself completely. Now, going back, taking the journey or to getting to know thyself required me to go within and go into the darkness of all the places I had been. It wasn't easy because I denied the things I seen because I was never taught these things. I was never taught to look at a person as they were myself, as a mirror of who I am. I was never taught that some of the visions I was getting was premonition or things that would help me understand what was about to come. My intuition was off balance because I didn't believe in myself. I didn't trust myself. I didn't love myself. Self-love had a lot to do with me changing and raising my frequency to get to a point where doors was beginning to open for me. I didn't know that my value had a lot to do with my money. I didn't know that as I walked through these doors of self-mastery and understanding what the Garden of Eden really was, would require me to let people go that no longer served me on my journey. Now, during this time, I didn't understand that by me reviewing the things I went through and the things that I had continuously sitting in my heart, it will allow me to have a sense of relief and it will actually be removed from my heart by me forgiving the very incident and the people that was involved and letting go. Making room to bring in new things. Making rooms for new doors to be open for me. I didn't understand this process. I did it unconsciously because myself remembered that I had did it, but I couldn't put words to it. I didn't understand what was really going on. I was just doing. And I knew the only thing I wanted was for me to have a different life and to understand who I was, who I am, and who God was, and what God was to me, and why I had to go through what I went through, because I think I went through hell. As I'm opening these doors of remembrance, it gave me parts of me back that I lost. I started becoming more alive and becoming whole again. My pep in my step was different. My talk was different. My walk was different. My purpose was different. I now lived to see what next I could heal, what next I could conquer, what next I could learn, because I was now receiving more from me loving myself and understanding growth was a choice of my own. I became very fascinated, and it became a drive for me because now I can see change in real time. When before, when I just prayed and I went to relieve my heart and my mind, I saw little change, but I seen change. This was different. I was no longer staying in things that no longer served me. I was making better choices. And by me making better choices, I was feeling better. I wasn't heavy. My body wasn't weighed down. My heart wasn't weighed down. My mind wasn't no longer running like it used to be. So that gave me some inner peace. And it made me want to know more about myself and how we became to be. I asked God, like, God, continue to show me who you are. Give me signs. Now, at this point, I want to have a relationship and I want a dialogue with God. I want to know how we communicate. It was no longer about, well, God, well, could you fix my finances? It wasn't about that. I want to know how could I talk to God more, because now I'm seeing changes and I'm wondering, there's a lot of changes going on. Now, my ego was afraid because my ego was tied to fear. My ego had me afraid because your ego is there to keep you comfortable where you are, but it also could work against you because there's duality in everything. Your ego can work for you or it could not work for you. I learned that my ego will keep me in between where I wouldn't risk making a decision on something or taking a chance or different choice on something when I already know how something's gonna, make me feel in a good way and a bad way. I was afraid to let people go. I was afraid to let me make sure I use my words right, because I want to make sure if I'm gonna walk in these doors authentically, I have to make sure I give the message the way it's supposed to be. Let me go back. When it comes to the ego has a job to protect you. It has a job to keep you balanced wherever you are. But that also can be tricky because that balance can keep you balanced, but it won't allow you to grow to the next level because you will be too fearful to move forward and step into something new because it's the unknown. That's the best way I can explain that. But the unknown sometimes is the best decision for you. Now you got to have discernment when you're making choices. If you know that Johnny is a hoe, we're gonna keep it real. You know Johnny's a hoe, and Johnny gonna continue to do what he do. You know that you're gonna get the same outcome every time. Why continue to choose Johnny? If you know that overspending is gonna keep you stagnant and stuck, and you're gonna always have to ask somebody for some money, why you keep doing that? If you know that overeating makes you gain weight, why you gonna keep doing it? I feel like some stuff is just common sense, but when you're stuck in illusion, it's safety. Something stuff was safety for me. It became a safety rim for me. And it was also my prison at the same time. So as I walked through the door of self-mastery, I had to see who I was and how I was the one that kept me stagnant and stuck because I was afraid to make the decision I need to make. I was afraid to let people go that need to be gone because of the position they held, because of the financial contract we had, or the contract and commitment we had, quote unquote, in a relationship or in a marriage. These things keep us bind to realities that no longer serves us. So you have to understand that you have to change and be willing to let go of things that no longer serve you in this process. Now let's get back to, we talked about the Eden representing the original blueprint. Eden was the original blueprint. Our original blueprint was us being understanding, inner standing beings and not egotistical beings. We was consciousness. We knew that our vibration was very important. There was no words that was needed. We talked telepathically. Your vibration was very important. People knew who you were based on how your vibration. You were on certain levels because of your vibration, and it was known. It words didn't been need. It was not needed. Honesty was already there because you vibrated it, and that's what we're going back to. Vibration is very important, and your inner state is important. So you have to clean and purge and understand you have to balance the inner self to become the best version of yourself. And you can do that by mastering the self. What is self-mastery? Let's talk about it. I got notes because I want to make sure we don't miss nothing. Self-mastery is not control. It is alignment. It means you're responsible. You respond to life rather than attempting to control it. It is learning the sacred language of your emotions, thoughts, and energy, forming reaction into awareness through presence, discipline, and surrender. You become the gardener. I can't even say that word. The gardener of your own Eden. You no longer allow other people to fulfill the cups that you need or tell you who you are and what you need. You embody it. You become who you are by mastering the self. And that means understanding every aspect of who you are and what you need and how you operate. Let's go over this again. Self-mastery is not control. It is alignment. It means mastering your response to life itself rather than attempting to control it. It is learning the sacred language of your emotions, thoughts, and energy, transforming reaction into awareness. Through presence, discipline, and surrender, you become the gardener of your own Eden. So as you walk through, you're no longer living in the past. A lot of us are walking around living in the past, not understanding that the past keeps you in that illusion. We have to learn to let go. We have to put in what I'm trying to say. You have to add, I don't say nomenclature, not that. You have to add a programming in to help you purge the things that you have to let go. Your whole being and consciousness is a program. You can program yourself to help you purge, release, let go, grieve. You could do anything you want to do. You have to plug that into your being. So through presence, and that means not living in the future. Oh, I gotta make sure I'm making the money. I gotta go do this and do that. Now, we're human. Don't get me wrong, we're here being human, but we have to trust the process too. And by trusting the process, that means you have to trust you. And you have to trust God. We pray to God all the time about things that we want, we need, but we're not living in the presence to get those things, because those things are, there are things that are offered to you to make a choice to pivot in that direction. If you don't make that choice because you can't see the choice, because you're living in the past and living in the future, this is your fault. It's nobody else's. And by to change that part about yourself, to stop living in the past and live in the future, you have to understand the self. You have to master you so you can become balanced and harmonize and stay in the present to receive the information you need so you can pivot in a way where you can stay in alignment with your goal and your purpose. Discipline is very important, because discipline, a lot of us is not a lot of people are not disciplined because they can't even master their day. That requires discipline. You can't even master your household. That requires discipline. I'm not talking about control. I'm saying being present and available to maintain your human life in a way where it's not in a control state, but in a flow state. You have to be disciplined. And I said those things were outside of you, but you have to be disciplined within first before you can even reflect that outwardly. Are you disciplined with your eating habits? Are you disciplined with self-love, self-care, understanding, purging, releasing? Are you disciplined? There's certain things that are required of you to be the best version of yourself. And discipline is on the top of the list. And that's got to be the top 3. And the last one that goes with those 3 things is surrendering. Presence requires you to be disciplined in your growth. It also requires you to surrender and to let go once you have gotten to a point where you can no longer live in the lifestyle that you're in. Surrender to the flow. Allow God to show you the way. A lot of times we don't know how to do that because we're looking for things or want certain things or have expectations that does not meet what God is trying to show us. A lot of time it requires us to be a better version of ourselves, to receive the things that we want. And a lot of times you can't see certain things that's coming because the version that you are is not the version that is going to bring you that very thing that you need. Let that sink in. Because me, at this moment, I'm going to have a little tangent real quick. let me get off a little topic. Let me do a little story time. This last week and a half, there's a version of me that need to come in to be in alignment with who I am at this moment. I was fighting her because I didn't want to let go of my weave and my makeup. Being authentic and walking in the frequency and the vibration of truth requires you to embody truth. I tied beauty to external things that wasn't a part of me. I didn't allow myself to see myself fully because my confidence was attached to my weave and my makeup. I knew this for a long time. I knew that eventually that part of me would have to go. I just didn't know that it was going to be this soon. when I was told that I needed to not wear the makeup and to wear my natural hair, everything in me fought. My ego really did a number. Self-doubt, imposter syndrome, everything that could possibly come up did. And I got a chance to see myself in that moment. I got a chance to address it because I need to see how deep this wound was. What made me not want to be seen naked? And I want to say that it started in my childhood. As a kid growing up, from my background, we were never really allowed to wear natural hair. We had a routine from when I was yay high to go to grandmother's house and she would straighten our hair. And your hair wasn't done unless you got your hair pressed. And even to this day, you know, my mom, I love her, but she doesn't look at natural hair as having your hair done. She doesn't comment it on like she do. Girl, you look pretty today. If I got my weave in, baby, I'm working it. My natural hair, when you gonna do your hair? Like a lot of times, that's just something, a natural thing for them. They don't know that it bothers you when you're trying to love yourself unconditionally. The hardest thing was for me to do my real hair, you know, and I could do my kids' hair, but when it came to me, that was just such a blockage. I mean, I couldn't function. If my hair wasn't done, baby, I can't function. So when spirit, when the universe, source, Lord, when they put me through what I went through last year, I knew change was coming. And it was a big pivot in my, and I would say career, in my career, in my life, um, of the self and who I am and my identity. I knew that this was bigger than me because of what I went through. I'm a miracle walking, and I'm grateful for it. But when I say about certain tests that we have, it's so simple. My makeup and my hair was a test for me to be in alignment with my higher self and in my purpose. And today I had that breakthrough. I finally purged and cried and stopped and surrendered to the process. Because I didn't surrender. The hardest thing was surrender is hard. I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that it's the easiest thing because it's a choice. Surrender is a choice. And a lot of times people don't take it because they have some type of programming or belief system that's set up that won't allow them to take that path. But today I chose it. With the help of my daughter, I cried, I purged, and I chose the path. And as you see me today, no makeup and my natural hair. And a lot of people that's on this podcast, you may just hear me, but this video will be posted on my YouTube and my Patreon account once I complete it and edit it. But self-mastery is major for this foundation that you're building, for this growth. You have to master you to get to truly see you and to be put in alignment with your assignment and authenticity. I can't say that word is for some reason. Like, be authentic in your walk and to allow you to walk in your purpose. So let's dive into the inner alchemy. Transformation begins with awareness, observing without judgment. The alchemical process is recognizing, reflection, realignment. Each thought, word, and deed becomes an ingredient in the philosopher's stone of your consciousness. I'm going to say this again. The inner alchemy is transformation that begins with awareness, observing without judgment. The, the alchemical process is recognizing, reflection, realignment. Each thought, word, and deed becomes an ingredient in the philosopher's stone of your consciousness. So as you learn to master the self, you will learn that you will begin to alchemize things that come up, emotions, your thoughts, your words. Your entire being will be rewritten. I'm gonna say that again. As you learn to master the self, you will begin to alchemize the very essence of the self that no longer serves you. Meaning, by shining awareness on the things that's within, will allow you to transform by observing without judgment. And that's the key. You have to observe yourself without judgment. That's very hard for most. But that's the key to you fully seeing yourself for who you are and mastering the self. Now, as you do this, you're going to use the alchemical process, which is first recognizing, reflection, and realignment. So once you recognize that there's a problem, and that doesn't this program, whatever you got going on inside, you don't go with the new version of you, and you know it can use a change. You reflect on it. Reflection will allow you to rewrite it. It'll allow you to see it for what it is, and for you to grieve and love on yourself and let go. Let it go by rewriting it. And I'm going to show you what I mean by that. I was molested when I was younger. That bothered me as a kid. I couldn't trust anyone. I was very feisty. I used my fire in a way that I would always fight. If nobody else would protect me, I'm going to protect me. I had to rewrite that part of me because I was abusing my fire. I was abusing myself in a way where I wouldn't allow myself to be fully seen and heard because I was angry that it happened to me. In return, my vibration was low. So even if something popped off, I was ready. I was always ready. And I'm going to get you before you get me. That's not a way to live. Because your energy field, you're using it as a weapon. And it's not helping you. It's depleting you. It's making you tired. And you're using it in a distorted fashion. So I had to learn that, okay, let's get her what she needs. I had to love on her. That version of me. During that time period, that 5-year-old girl that was molested by somebody that was bigger than her, that she couldn't fight back. I had to love on her and let her know you are loved. What happened to you, but it's not your fault. And even though it happened, it don't determine your future. We will transmute this moment in a way where it'll be conducive to your growth and not hurt you or harm you. Allow the feeling that you have placed in your heart to come up. Go ahead and feel it because you're safe with me. Allow myself to sit there. Let my heart fill up with the feeling and the emotion of what I felt at that moment. And allow myself, I loved on myself in that moment. And I cried. I grieved that moment. and allow myself to release and let go and purge. I purged it in a way where I sent love to that person because I forgave them for what they did to me. I forgave myself for being who I was at that moment. She didn't have the knowledge that she have now, but she did what she could to get by, and I appreciate her for it. I let her know. I wrote a letter to that child. Let her know you are safe. You're safe with me. I will let no harm come your way. That is called realignment. When you can take something, transform it into a way where it works for you and it helps you and it gives you love in return. Unconditional love and not hate. It allows you to correct your course and realign with your purpose and continue on your path, not causing you to be stagnant and live in the past. You can now live in the present comfortably. No longer living in that hurt and that pain and feeling you not seen. Empowering you and uplifting you and not tearing you down and keeping you stuck and stagnant. Inner alchemy is amazing. It is a great tool to use. And when you master the self, it's going to become your friend. So now let's go to returning to the garden. Every time you choose peace over chaos, truth over illusion, love over fear, you step deeper into Eden. The gate is not locked. It opens through intention, humility, and remembrance. Eden is restored in the heart first and through you. The earth remembers too. I'm going to say this again because you need to hear this. Returning to Eden means every time you choose peace over chaos, truth over illusion, love over fear, you step deeper into Eden. The gate is not locked. It's open through intention, humility, and remembrance. Eden is restored in the heart first, and through you, the earth remembers too. When it comes to the garden, the heart is very valuable. As you be self-master, you'll learn that you have to protect your heart more because most of the stuff that you are healing and you are reviewing is stuck in the heart and has to be purged out and released. And because you didn't know properly how to do this, you held it, which in return made you live in the past. It didn't allow you to live in the presence. And it made you want to live, to yearn for the future, for better, because of the fact that you was tired of living the way that you were. Understand the garden is your heart, and you have to guard it, but not in a way where you have to close it off. Your heart's supposed to remain open at all times. It's up to you to make better choices and set boundaries so you can move forward and you can maneuver and flow the way you want to, because it is your reality. It's your life. It's your choices. Choices are golden. Within the returning to the garden, you're going to learn that the more you heal, the more your vibration was going to change. The more your consciousness is going to change. More things going to open up to you. The more you're going to see clearer. The doors that was closed are no longer closed. They're going to be open to the point where now you're going to understand things a lot more than what you did before, because now your garden is clear. Your garden has been cleared out, and now she's growing healthy, green trees and whatever you plant inside of it. Your heart is very important. It's the most important thing that you have to guard, and you have to understand that as your heart pumps, it allows you to vibrate. It allows you to call in and magnetize things to you. So if your heart is filled with impurities, filled with hurt, pain, guilt, fear, anger, hate, you're radiating out the very thing you're calling it back in. You're magnetizing it because you called out, you said you were ready for it. But until you learn the lesson you need to learn, and you learn to reprogram it, and you learn to alchemize, and you learn to transmute the very things that you no longer need, you can vibrate differently and call in the things that you want and the things that's going to be conducive to your growth and no longer harm you. We're now at the end of this beautiful episode. And I want to leave something with you. Those of you that don't believe in writing journals, you should. Because writing allows you to offload. It allows you to see the inner self a lot clearer when you can read it, what it says or what is vibrating. I'll also challenge you to write a song about yourself and see what you actually write. That will actually let you see a lot of things about yourself, because you'll see if you are a person that is willing to reflect and to take full responsibility to heal and let go, or are you playing victim? It's all up to you. Healing is a choice, but it's a choice of your own. Yes, we went through everything we went through, but we also got to learn that the things we went through was there to teach us a lesson. No matter how bad or good or however you tied your emotion to the circumstances, it still don't determine who you are. It still don't determine your future. You can overcome anything that comes your way. Doesn't matter what it is. It's up to you to forgive, reflect, let go, and realign. That's nobody else's choice. So I encourage you to journal. Understand that your thoughts are key to what's really going on inside of you. If you journal and you write it down, it'll teach you how to offload, but you also can journal so you can understand and you can empower. You can let go of things that no longer serve you. So for those that love to journal and reflect, your reflection and journal prompt for today will be: what thoughts, habits, or emotions are weeds in my inner garden? And what divine qualities do I wish to plant instead? I'm going to say this again. What thoughts, habits, or emotions are weeds in my inner garden? And what divine qualities do I wish to plant instead? The closing words. Before I do closing words, let me just tell you words from me. Life is a journey. You have to learn to understand that this journey is there for you to learn and for you to master. It's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be days you're going to cry. You're going to purge. You're not going to want to get up. But you have to have the will to give yourself what you need at that moment. Ask yourself. Have a dialogue between you and yourself. Communicate with yourself. What do you need from me today? And be honest. The only way this can work if you be truthful and honest with yourself. That's the only person it matters to. Because if you can't be honest with yourself, you will never get out of the illusions that you're in or the levels that you're on. You will be stuck and you can't grow in a sin and move like you're supposed to and like you was designed to with the blueprint that you have. An ascension, ascend. Ascension allows us to raise our frequencies, vibrate at levels that will open doors for greatness, for opportunities, for growth. It is amazing. So I want to let you know I love you. And you're not alone. If you need insight, go to my page, my YouTube, my Instagram, my Facebook, my TikTok. I'm always posting inspirational thoughts of the day. I will do more of these, and I'm planning on doing them daily. For right now, for what Spirit got going on, I'm probably going to post these daily because they're needed until I'm told not to. I'm getting my messages from source. Direct line. If you need insight and guidance, book a session with me. It's a sacred session where I can give you guidance on where you are. It'll help you with your next step in your next chapter. It also give you insight on where you are and what you can do next. You're not alone. So you don't have to move like you are. But trust yourself and trust that whatever choice you make is the best choice for you at that moment. No choice is a bad choice. I'm going to say that again because you already knew you was going to make that choice before you made it. So we're going to go step into the closing words and end this session with unconditional love. The greatest journey you will ever take is the one that leads you back to yourself, the living God eating. Thank you for walking through this key with me. The key was self-mastery and the return to Eden. Until next time, remember, mastery is not about being perfect. It's about being present. Walk in light, beloveds. The gate of Edens are within you. I'm sending you love and light, sweetie. Have an amazing day, and I hope this did a lot for you and open doors for you to be curious and ask questions. Until next time, I'm sending you love.